it says seed. He shall see his seed. I don't remember Jesus ever having children.
I don't either.
Or even having children or being here to see his seed.
Live. First, we want to give praise, honor, and esteem to the Most High, who is YaHuWaH, and we serve Him only. All right, because that's what the words say. I'm Rob, and
I'm Frank Nunez with WOTR, Waters of the Ruach.
All right, and here to just have an interesting conversation today. This is a very volatile topic. I'm sure everybody can see the topic name and stuff. And so let's just get right into it. So we here talking about Isaiah 53. We've been doing a lot of research over the last months. I know, and I in our earlier conversations, I didn't tell you this, but I know you knew that me and Kenny was on those calls with some brothers, several months back, and this was a heavy hitter. And me and Kenny didn't have a lot of answers back then, because we just hadn't looked at it like that. But I've looked at it a little bit more, and I have a better understanding of why this is a very important topic, you know what I'm saying? Because whoever has this identity, they're the fathers, you know what I'm saying? And they all the curses that come with it. When he said he gonna restore them, the people that want this identity, man, they want to be restored to that glory, you know what I'm saying? So like I've done a video called Stolen Identity. So this stuff is just very, 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 very interesting, man. You got some initial thoughts before we dive all the way in?
No, I just, other than really just people hope they listen to what is being said and shared and to examine what we're saying. And remember, everything is context. We can't just pick one verse or two and twist it. Because at the end of the day, you become an oppressor to Yahuwah's people for not sharing the word, sharing the truth.
And sharing the truth of the word.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a whole lot of what I think is going on, man. So and real quick, I want everybody to please like the video if you are understanding what we're saying and see what we're trying to share here, and share the video so other people, so other Hebrews out there, other lights out there can see it. You know what I'm saying? Other Israelites can see it. And we, as you did that video, about a month ago, Israel is not just Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? Israel is anybody that will call upon Yahuwah and do what Yahuwah asks. You know what I'm saying? They become Israel. That, there are lights out there that are not bloodline that can become Israel. So, and then we want you guys to make sure that you subscribe to to the channels that are, you know, as we try to put this information out there and try to reach the remnant. You know what I'm saying? So, anything you want to add to that, Op?
Yeah, that video you just mentioned, it's on WOTR, Words of the Ruach, called "Stranger with Benefits." It will explain that yes, the Israelites are the driving force of everything, and in the entire Old Testament, they are the driving force of everything that Yahuwah is using. And those that attach, like you said, to Israel become Israel. And you'll see everything is explained in that video. It's an excellent lesson, and I encourage everyone to check it out.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. The New Testament salvific son. They try to tie him, you know, JC. One of the guys that we watch calls him Jeepers Creepers. I think, I think that's pretty funny. But yeah, we don't think he is who Isaiah 53 is, man. So what we've arranged to do is read Isaiah 53 from 4 different versions, and then we'll go through and kind of talk about what we see. We don't want this to be a long video because we know a lot of people's attention spans aren't that long, and we want as many likes as possible to see this. So we'll work through. We won't butcher the word. We won't leave anything shortchanged. But we're gonna do this our way, and then we're gonna get up out of here. So, all right, real quick. The first question I got for you, and just tell me what you think real quick. Do you think this has already happened? You think Isaiah 53 is a prophecy that's been fulfilled, or it's yet to be fulfilled?
It has not happened, and it is yet to be fulfilled.
Okay, and I agree with that. I don't think it's happened either. And there are people out there that may think that we don't believe that. Me personally, Rob Robertson, they may think I don't believe that a character ever existed. I'm one of the ones that think there was a character actor. He was just a false prophet. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of his stuff got manipulated to fit this identity of this character, so this character could steal our identity. All right, because we know that the word actually says the scriptures say that Israel is the son of the Most High. So the Old Testament never said that there was a JC character, YaHuWShuWA, YaHaWaShi, YeShuA. Any of those people were his son. Never said that specifically, but it did say Israel was his son. You know, so. All right, what's your take on do you think people, to understand what Isaiah 53 is saying, do you think people need to know what the Tanakh says, or the Torah says, the five books of Moses that they say is the 5 books of Moses? Do you think they need to know what that says?
Of course, I would agree. Yes, because you'll find your answers there, and not only that, but the Tanakh is crucial to understand it, read it, look under the English, because you have all these translations that give it to you in different manners because everybody understands it differently. But at the end of the day, look under the English, and not because it sounds good in English is really what it's really saying. Look under it.
In English, it fits the New Testament salvific son narrative.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But we're trying to fit the Most High's narrative, right?
That's right.
All right. So, I mean, I think when the word says, when the Most High says, "Seek me," all right, search for me while I might be found. I mean, he's talking to us as individuals. We know, He wants us to learn about him and know his ways and have a direct a connection, communication with him. I don't think he would want a necessary spiritual mediator, you know what I'm saying, to be a part of uh, our lives and tell us commandments that he didn't already give us. You know, the New Testament has a bunch of new commandments in it. You know what I'm saying? And the Old Testament says don't add to or take away from. So I mean, it's just confusion after confusion on this stuff, man. But I'm you know, we trying to lay down a better foundation with the truth. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so let's go ahead. You go ahead and read KJV Isaiah 53, and then I'll come right behind you. Uh,
Okay, you want me to read the whole chapter?
yeah, read Isaiah 53, verses 1 through 12, I believe it is.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So
Just read it straight through, and then I'm gonna come behind you, and I'm gonna read it straight through from my Tanakh.
okay, and it goes, "Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yahuwah revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, and when he shall see him, I'm sorry, when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and he esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of um, Elohim, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. That excuse me, the chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like, all we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and Yahuwah hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. He has oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb. So he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken, and he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. And then I'm on verse 10 now. Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him; he hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahuwah shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. And the last verse, therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death. He hath he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
All right. Uh, all right, I'm gonna read it out of my Tanakh. All right, Isaiah 53, and you'll be able to tell that it reads a little bit differently. I use different words because
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that the Hebraic translations are a little bit different in certain people's eyes. So, all right, Isaiah 53 from the JPS, the new JPS translation tonight. All right, it says, "Who can believe what we have heard? Upon whom has the arm of Yahuwah been revealed? For he has grown by his favor like a tree crown, like a tree trunk out of arid ground. He had no form or beauty that we should look at him, no charm that we should find him pleasing. He was despised, shunned by men, a man of suffering, familiar with disease. As one who hid his face from us, he was despised. We held him of no account. Yet it was our sickness that he was bearing, our suffering that he endured. We accounted him plagued, smitten, and afflicted by God." 5. "But he was wounded because of our sins, crushed because of our iniquities. He bore the chastisement that made us whole. By his bruises we were healed. We all went astray like sheep, each going his own way. And Yahuwah visited upon him the guilt of all of us, of all of us. 7. He was maltreated, yet he was submissive. He did not open his mouth. Like a sheep being led to slaughter, like a ewe dumb before those who shear her, he did not open his mouth. By oppressive judgment he was taken away. Who could describe his abode? For he was cut off from the land of the living, through the sin of my people who deserved the punishment. And his grave was set among the wicked, and with the rich in his death, though he had done no injustice and had spoken no falsehood. 10. But Yahuwah chose to crush him by disease, that if he made himself an offering for guilt, he might see offspring and have long life, and that through him Yahuwah's purpose might prosper. Out of his anguish he shall see it, he shall enjoy it to the full through his devotion. My righteous servant makes the many righteous. It is their punishment that he bears. 12. Assuredly, I will give him the many as his portion. He shall receive the multitude as his spoil, for he exposed himself to death and was numbered among the sinners, whereas he bore the guilt of the many and made intercession for sinners." All right, will you go ahead and read it from your Jewish Bible now?
Sure can. Okay, so okay. Who would have believed our reports, and to whom is the arm of Yahuwah revealed? For he grew up before him as a tender plant, as a root out of a dry ground. He had no form nor comeliness that we should look at him, and no countenance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected of him, a man of pains and acquainted with sickness. And we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not, but in truth, he was born. He has borne our sicknesses and endured our pains. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Elohim, and afflicted. But he was wounded because of our transgressions, bruised because of our iniquities. His sufferings were that we might have peace, and by his injury we are healed. All we like sheep gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and Yahuwah has caused the iniquity of us all to fall upon him. He was oppressed, but he humbled himself and opened not his mouth, as a lamb which is brought to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearer is dumb. So he did not open his mouth. By oppression or false judgment was he taken away, and of his generation who considered. For he was cut off out of the land of the living. for the transgression of the people to whom the stroke was due. For they made his grave among the wicked and his tomb among the rich, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. But it pleased YaHuWah to crush him by disease. If his soul shall consider it a recompense for guilt, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the purpose of YaHuWah shall prosper in his hand. He shall see the travail of his soul, he shall be seated with he shall be sated with seeing. By his knowledge did my servant justify the righteous one to the many, and did bear their iniquities. Surely I will give him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he has poured out his soul to death, and was numbered with transgressors, but he bore the sin of many. The sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Sing. Yep, that was it right there. Sorry, I was going into 54.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna now read one more Isaiah 53 from the Septuagint, and then we'll kind of do our version of a dissection of the verses. And we don't want to hold too long to this, but at the same time we do want to effectively go through and try to help people see what we see. So all right. Isaiah 53 from the Brenton Septuagint. O YaHuWah, who has believed our report? And to whom has the arm of YaHuWah been revealed? We brought a report as of a child before him. He is as a root in a thirsty land. He has no form nor comeliness. And we saw him, but he had no form nor beauty. 3. But his form was ignoble and inferior to that of the children of men. He was a man in suffering and acquainted with the bearing of sickness. For his face is turned from us. He was dishonored and not esteemed. He bears our sins and is pain for us. Yet we accounted him to be in trouble and in suffering and in affliction. 5. But he was wounded on account of our sins and was bruised because of our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and by his bruises we were healed. All we as sheep have gone astray. Every one has gone astray in his way, and YaHuWah gave him up for our sins. And he, because of his affliction, opens not his mouth. He was led as a sheep to the slaughter, and as a lamb before the shearer is dumb, so he opens not his mouth. In his humiliation, his judgment was taken away. Who shall declare his generation? For his life is taken away from the earth. Because of the iniquities of my people, he was led to death. 9. And I will give the wicked for his burial, and the rich for his death. For he practiced no iniquity, nor craft with his mouth. YaHuWah also is pleased to purge him from his stroke. If ye can give an offering for sin, your soul shall see a long-lived seed. YaHuWah also is pleased to take away from the travail of his soul, to show him light and to form him with understanding, to justify the just one who serves many well, and he shall bear their sins. 12. Therefore, he shall inherit many, and he shall divide the spoils of the mighty, because his soul was delivered to death, and he was numbered among the transgressors, and he bore the sins of many, and was delivered because of their iniquities. All right, so we just read 4 different versions of the Isaiah 53 verse. All right. And so as we go into these verses individually, before I do that, I wanna kind of to make a statement. All right. there are videos out there that of what various people think about Isaiah 53. All right. And on some of these channels, I agree with a lot of what these brothers say, and I disagree with some of these brothers say on certain topics that they talk about. All right. But one thing is for sure, you know what I'm saying, they are seeking the most high only, you know what I'm saying, on these channels that I'm going to. And so as some of them talk about Isaiah 53, they say that it could be Jeremiah. All right, and you would link that to verses 7 and 8, I believe. If you go to Jeremiah 11, you can see where a few things were said in Jeremiah 11 that were said here in Isaiah 53, and so they link Jeremiah to being that suffering servant. Then some link Ezekiel to being the suffering servant because he bore the sins of the people. In Ezekiel 4, you can go read the account where he bore the sins of the people. And there's other verses in Ezekiel where it said the father made Ezekiel dumb to where he couldn't speak. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And just some of the stuff he had to do because of the sins of the people. So some people say it's Ezekiel. There's another channel I watch where the brother says that it's the Levitical priesthood, and I can see that when you read verses 10, 11, and 12. Who's supposed to offer themselves up for the sins of the people, but the priests? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then I watch another channel where the guy said it's the righteous bloodline of the kings of Israel and Judah. All right, and you can see where David and Solomon and the other righteous kings, Hezekiah, you can see if you go read some of their about their lives, you can see where some they might fit some of this. I mean, I know verse 12 where it says, "Therefore he shall inherit many, and he shall divide the spoils of the mighty." That sounds like David to me. You know what I'm saying? So I can kind of see where they're saying that. And then of course we have various channels out there that say that it's Israel. Okay. And uh I have a thought about that, but we'll share that here at the end of toward the end of the video. All right, what are your thoughts on what we just read? And then we'll get into verse 1.
Man, well, as you guys can see, if you're reading out of King James, it definitely sounds a little different from the Jerusalem Bible, which I'm using, and then what Ak just read from his. But you got to look under the English and put 2 and 2 together um, to really get the grasp of what's going on here. So, I mean, that's kind of what I would say to that.
Okay. Yeah, you got to go into the English to get proper understandings. Excuse me. A lot of the times when people want to debate me, and I've said it many times, I don't necessarily debate. I share information, and when I put the information out there, if people don't want to accept it, then they can do their own videos to share their own information or disprove mine, or however they want to do it. I don't really ain't concerned with that. I'm concerned with waking up the remnant. You know what I'm saying, and to come out of idolatry. So let's get into Isaiah 53 verse 1. I'm gonna go ahead and read it from the KJV, and then as I read verse 1, as I read the verses, I'll ask you what you think about them, and if I have something to add, I'll add it. If I don't have anything to add, I won't. We'll keep it moving along. All right. So with verse 1, it says, "Who has believed our report, and to whom is the arm of YaHuWah revealed?" What do you see in verse 1?
Somebody's questioning.
Yeah.
Because you see the question marks here. Who have believed our report? Question mark. And then, whom is the arm of YaHuWah revealed? Question mark. So somebody, to me, in context, of course, as you keep going, it almost sounds like they are questioning out of I don't want to say they're spooked, but more like in shock.
Astonishment.
Right. Yeah, that'd probably be a better word. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Astonishment. Shock. Okay.
mhm.
Um, and since we believe that this is still a prophecy that is, either yet to be fulfilled or being fulfilled, you know what I'm saying? It would make sense that, that question needs to be asked right there. You
Oh
know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So, and I say question, those questions. Verse 2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. Now that verses 1 and verse 2 kind of don't mesh together to me, man. It's like verse 1 maybe should have
No.
been in chapter 52, which we know that Isaiah, the original manuscript, don't have chapters and verses. It just,
Yeah.
just scripture,
Hmm.
but or it's one main scripture. But
Yeah.
it just seemed like verses 1 and verse 1 should end, verse 2 should be the next chapter or something like that. But I mean, that's just me.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
So what do you see in verse 2 that might
Sure.
stand out?
Yeah. When you read verse 2, in all honesty, let's just focus on that verse. People can easily be, oh, well, that's Jesus, that's Yeshua, that's YaHuWaShi. I mean, but there's more to it. And this is one of the things I always say. Um, Everything is context, and everything is not only just going under the Hebrew, but knowing the exact meaning of those words. So, you know, um, because you reminded me earlier in a previous conversation that Yahuwah's ways are not our ways. So, with that being said, sometimes things you may wonder, why did he do it like this, or why did he not do this? But I just wanted people to keep that in mind, that it's not always the way things should be understood in the moment.
Yeah.
So,
When it says no form of comeliness right there, it reminds me, if this is if this is future tense, uh, it reminds me, kind of black people over here in America, to be honest, because I
mhm.
mean we really have no identity. They just call us black, or they used to call
Yeah,
us colored, or they called us Negro,
yeah,
or they try to call us African American now. You know what I'm saying? Black people over here, black people in the UK, black people, various black people uh, around the world that don't have a history past the transatlantic slave trade. You know
yep.
what I'm saying? That to me it could be saying that right there. You know what I'm saying? So, but uh, that's my personal speculation. That's kind of what I see. But let's go to verse 3. All right. It says, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised and we esteemed him not. What do you see in verse 3, Ak?
Um, I mean, let's piggyback up for what you just said about the bruise. Even in today's society, I mean, you see this exact thing happening. They're despised, they're rejected. Um, you know, no one, and I hate to say it like this, but let's speak the truth. Sometimes people don't desire them to be around.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's, I mean, that's what I see. You know what I'm saying? Um, and at the end, it's gonna all go make sense. So y'all just hang in there with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, he is despised and rejected of men. I mean, there's one group of people around the globe, man, that gets treated the lowest of the low. I mean,
I
now,
mean, Deuteronomy. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna just say that when you read Deuteronomy 28, the curses that follow the real people of the book, you see that, and this is kind of in connection with it. You know, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So that's what I was just going to mention.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of people out there that are putting their faith and their trust in that New Testament salvific Son, and this is the Isaiah 53 is a chapter that they pin him to. I mean, it's it's a slam dunk when you come to this chapter, but we're finding out it's not a slam dunk, and we're gonna get to a certain set of verses that verifies that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 4 says, "Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted." What you see right there, Out.
Oh yeah, people can easily say, "Oh well, Jesus, you know, he was beaten for our sins and this and that." Of course, I mean, you can easily see that if you just use that verse alone. But go ahead,
Hey, I want to go back to verse 3 real quickly.
Yep.
Verse
Yep.
3 in the Septuagint says this: "But his form was ignoble and inferior to that of the children of men. He was a man in suffering and acquainted with the bearing of sickness. For his face is turned from us. He was dishonored and not esteemed." Two things I just want to mention from that verse in the Septuagint. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, it says he was a man, he was a man in suffering and acquainted with the bearing of sickness. When did JC ever bear sickness? When was he ever a sickly man?
It was not.
Now what they gonna say is, like when when the woman with the issue of blood testing and virtue flowed out of him or whatever. But this in the Septuagint right here is saying that he was familiar with sickness. That means he knew what it felt like to be sick. So, but the Bible never tells us that. Well, I say the Bible. The New Testament never tells us that he was ever sick.
Right, right. A man of pains. Pains plural. Well, I mean, there's one group of people that had a lot of pain since
Well, he
they
went
had
through pains for one night though. I mean,
yeah.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? They putting this narrative together, and it as the chosen of Yahuwah, we supposed to unwind these narratives. We supposed to unweave them. We supposed to put the truth out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it says he was dishonored and not esteemed. There are what, over 3 billion people that esteem JC.
Damn. That's
Come
about
on,
how
man.
many Christians?
You know, I mean, if this is fulfilled and he's esteemed by, if the largest population of religion is Christianity, ah, that's esteem.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe maybe some people will see that. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go to verse 5 now. It says, "But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed." I want to say something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The chastisement of our peace was upon him. Why? If he if he was beat up so bad, why don't we have peace now? If all the peace was supposed to be taken from him, so we would have peace, where is it in the
Mm-hmm.
world today? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it'll be some people that disagree with my thought process on that, but hey, if the New Testament salvific Son is true, then why is these curses still on the people?
Yep. Yep. That's because this book is not of him, of JC. Well, you
That's
know, and that goes back to Deuteronomy 28, where, like you said, the curses will follow the people of the book. Um, so, so
I think Deuteronomy 28, verse 29 says, "No man shall save you." They're saying
mhm.
that man saved the world.
Mm-hmm.
So which is it?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put the information out there, man.
Oh
All
yeah.
right, now, verse. Oh, and with his stripes we are healed. Maybe they're talking about spiritual souls. You when you die, you get to be healed. Then is that what that? I guess that's what that means to the Christians.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, I mean, because a lot of people when they eat clean and they eat healthy, they don't have no issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you and I are trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of messed up, uh, over the course of years with a lack of discipline, but we trying to do better, man. And
Oh yeah.
we,
Oh yeah.
being healed is doing better with what you do with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But like I said, maybe it's all spiritual to them. I don't know. All right, 6. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and Yahuwah had laid on him the iniquity of us all. What you see in verse 6?
What I'm seeing here, even in all of 53 up to this point, I mean, is the Israelites breaking away from Yahuwah. When it says all we like sheep have gone astray and we
Yeah,
have turned away. I mean, they were already turning away from Yahuwah, even in Egypt when they were worshiping Tammuz. And as
yeah.
time progressed, throughout the OT, you know,
And verse 6 right there, uh, it says, and Yahuwah had laid on him the iniquity of us all. Uh, that could be if you go read Ezekiel 4, like I said, I mean you could see where Ezekiel had to bear the sins of the people. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? If verse 6, if us all is Israel, then that makes sense. If us all is the Gentile nations, then maybe that don't make sense. If the
Mm-hmm.
Gentile nations is who's talking right there.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
And
uh oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
No, no, I was just going to say to the people, keep in mind that the OT is literally all about Yahuwah's people and the strangers that sojourn can basically convert. Uh, so, you know, as far as the Gentile nations, well, that's another story. But I just want to throw that out there to the people. But go ahead.
Okay. At verse 7, it says, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shears is dumb, so he openeth not his mouth. That reminds me of Jeremiah 11. When you
Mm.
go read in Jeremiah, you know, uh, that could be talking specifically about him right there. It's so almost worded alike, so that's I mean for the people to go look at that. All right, verse 8. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. Honest question, because I vaguely remember. I don't. I know. JC was in a holding cell, but was he ever in prison?
That I remember, no.
Just just questioning that. And he was cut out of the land of the living. That's Jeremiah again. That's directly in Jeremiah 11 right there. You know what I'm saying? For the
But
transgression of my people was he stricken.
but going back to what you just said about whether JC was in a prison, but you said what, a holding cell?
He was in a holding cell or something like that when they kept
Well, I
taking him
was
from
gonna.
place to place, or was he just in custody the whole time?
I think he was in custody, but
He was
I'm
in
not sure.
custody. Okay,
Right? Yeah, because if we say holding cell, people are gonna be like, well, that is a prison. You know what I'm saying? So.
true, true. Well, when I said holding cell, I knew he wasn't in no very. He was in the various locations for short periods of time until they killed him the next day or whatever. you know.
Yeah.
So they took him to a couple councils and beat up on him and mocked him and spit on him and smacked him around a little bit, but I don't think he was ever in prison. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I mean he in the Olive Garden or whatever, he could have bust out and ran on him then. He didn't even, I mean,
Yeah.
but all right, verse 9. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Now, you know, I tend to, that deceit in his mouth thing, man. I tend to disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, what do you think about verse 9 right there, Al?
Where he made his grave among the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last time I recall, Jesus, I said Jesus. Jesus did not have a grave. He had a tomb, and he was the only one in there. And if I recall correctly, I don't think he had neighbors accompanying him in the same tomb or next door to him. So, um, I mean, we're just pointing out the obvious, you know.
All right. Well, I ain't really got much to say about 9 because I'm ready to get to verse 10. All right, I'm gonna read verse 10 from the KJV, and I'm gonna read it from the Septuagint, and then I want your thoughts on it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10 from the KJV says, "Yet it pleased YaHuWah to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of YaHuWah shall prosper in his hand." All right, and then from the Septuagint, verse 10 says, "YaHuWah also is pleased to purge him from his stroke. If ye can give an offering for sin, your soul shall see a long-lived seed." Tell me what you think about verse 10.
There's a few things here. He says, but it pleased Yahuwah to crush him by disease. You know, from the OT, we remember that Yahuwah disciplined his people, and you know, even through the transatlantic trade, you know, we see that they're being punished because you know of their ways. Another thing to point out is it says seed. He shall see his seed. Uh, I don't remember Jesus ever having children,
I don't either.
or even uh, having children, or being here to see his seed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said context is everything. And like I said, we're pointing out stuff so people can just think about it. And at the end, it'll come together with what we're going to end up showing you guys.
Yeah. Keep going up.
Yeah,
Did you
and
have
it's
something else?
prolong his days. Yeah, I mean, and then it says he would prolong his days. I mean, he died early, what,
Yeah,
32, 33
he
years
was
old?
30. He was between the ages of 30 and 33, I believe, somewhere in
Yeah.
there. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I you know, there's people out there that try to say verse 8 is the killer. That's the knockout blow to anything we're saying. Well, over here we're saying verse 10 is the knockout blow to anything they're saying. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You can't just pick out a verse and just put your own interpretation to it. You got to read the whole chapter.
Yeah, right now I'm not willing to say exactly who it is for factual evidence. I mean, per factual evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell people my opinion on who I think it is and who I
Yeah.
think it ain't. And I don't think it's JC.
Yeah.
Or as G Dash would say, Jeepers Creepers. I
Yeah.
don't think it's JC.
No, it can't be.
And so I can't tell you exactly who it is, but I can tell you exactly who it ain't. It ain't the New Testament guy.
Jesus. Son of the Most High God.
No.
All right.
No.
Let's go. Let's finish the last two verses up, and then we can start wrapping things up.
Mhm.
It says, he shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities.
Hmm.
What you think? The being specific right there, saying righteous servant. This is Septuagint says. Says to justify the just one who serves many well, and he shall bear their sins. Says Yahuwah also is pleased to take away from the travail of his soul, to show him light, and to form him with understanding. To justify the just one who serves many well, he shall bear their sins. I mean, that sounds like that could be King David to me. You know what I'm saying? Because King David also performed the duties of a priest at one time. You know what I'm saying? So, but and the Most High considered David righteous, but he considered his prophets righteous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He considered the Levitical priesthood righteous. You know what I'm saying?
Ezekiel righteous, Jeremiah righteous.
Yeah, exactly. And so, he considered Job righteous. You know? Noah, Abraham. So,
and these are all servants of
they were all servants of the Most High. They were all Israelites. So, let's read verse 12. It says, therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he had poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Now that sounds like a future event right there.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? You know what this reminds me of is when the coming Messiah makes a a peace offering unto Yahuwah because of the transgression. That's kind of what came to mind. Because
and in Ezekiel 37 and there's various other scriptures. The Most High said he's going to raise David up to lead the people, to shepherd the people. So that's why I keep saying David, man, because of his prophesied coming or reappearing or reemergence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't see how the JC narrative and the end time Israel narrative can properly mesh. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
I don't see everything that's coming that that Yahuwah's servant is going to fulfill, how that aligns up with everything that happened in the New Testament, man. It don't all align to me.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. That's what I always say. It's like the New Testament is it's like a math book that got put together with a language arts book, and they're trying to force it to say that it was always part of it. You know?
Yeah. Hey, tell me about the word servant from the Hebrew perspective out.
Yeah. So give me 1 second here. So the word servant, and we're gonna post this up so you guys can see. It makes a direct reference to a group of people. So that's why I said just because it's in English, it teaches or is reading in the singular does not mean that is exactly what it is. So you have to go under the English to really get the full grasp of it. So like I said, we're going to post it up. And this is also found in the Chaldean, I believe it's the Chaldean lexicon. And then to answer Ag's question, slave. It means to worship, to perform religious services, and slave.
All right, so
Servants, yeah.
when you look at Exodus 4 and 22, 23, go there and tell me what you see in Exodus 4, 22, 23, how it pertains to servant.
Sure. So let's see, Exodus chapter 4, verse 22 and 23. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus says Yahuwah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So that's established there. And now 23, it says, and I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. So that word serve is the same word that is used over here in Isaiah as a servant in Isaiah 52, 53, which means uh, slave, basically, a servant, the nation of Israel as a whole.
I've never looked at servant, the word servant, until now, as like slave. Like there's you can't be free. A slave is somebody that can't be free unless they're set free.
Yeah.
And the Most High said he never said he was going to set Israel free.
Yeah. And
it makes sense. I mean, there's verses of scripture that says that Israel is Yahuwah's inheritance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, the Most High, we're His land essentially. Israel is His land. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's why I go back to reiterate what I said that the Hebrew people, you are going to be bringing. Well, I guess it includes me too because I'm the one that dwells within Israel. Will bring salvation to the world, basically, if they choose to, under Yahuwah's terms. But they're the driving force. You never see anywhere in Tanakh. I know we had this conversation before where a Messiah or is turned into a god either.
Wow.
Like Christianity. You don't ever see that.
Dang.
So what, if Yahuwah doesn't change yesterday, today, and the future, why is he changing in the New Testament?
Yeah,
just something I think it's just
David was a Messiah.
But he was never turned into a god.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. Dang.
So,
Cyrus was called a Messiah. I guess all the kings would be called messiahs. You know, Mashiachs.
Yeah.
or certain individuals want to say Christ.
Yeah.
Christus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, it goes deep, man. And that same word is used in Leviticus 25, verses 41 and 42. That same
Donna,
word,
go ahead.
Eheb, is there. Go ahead and read that out.
Yeah, and it says, and then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and into the possession of his fathers, and shall he return. 42. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondsmen. That word servant is the same word used in 52 and 53. I believe 53. Yeah. So, it's servants is plural. Servant, serve. It's all the same word, and it all means the same thing. So don't let that break fool you, where it says serve, and then you find other servants. Yeah.
That same word is used in Isaiah. So
yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, he considers Israel his servant, and Israel is the people. You know what I'm saying? The 12 sons or the 12 bloodlines of Israel.
Yeah.
And anybody that joins,
Yeah.
as per Exodus 12. So
Yeah, yeah.
Man, it's this stuff, studying this stuff, man, it brings it all into fruition for you, man. It brings it all together for you, man.
Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna also for the people that are still in doubt about the servants, if you don't mind, we can walk this back to Isaiah 43:10.
Yeah,
Uh,
go. Yeah. Let's go over there.
let me see here.
Hmm.
I guess if you want to read it, you get there
Yeah,
already. 40,
I'll
40.
read it. I'll read it.
Yeah, 10 through
I'll
11.
read it from my Tanakh.
Go
It
ahead.
says, "My witnesses are you," declares Yahuwah, "my servant, whom I have chosen, to the end that you may take thought and believe in me, and understand that I am He. Before me, no God was formed, and after me, none shall exist."
And then who did Yahuwah say that the servant were? Jacob and Israel,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they are the witness. And this is why I said they are the driving force of salvation and everything that encompasses the Old Testament. If you can grasp that, then everything else in the OT will start making sense to you. Because
yeah.
you
And
have
that's
go
why
ahead.
we had that scripture that says, in the latter days, that people will grab the skirts of a Jew and say, "We're gonna come with y'all because y'all got Elohim with y'all."
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then I got a few other ones. Isaiah 41, verses 8 through 9. And then we'll just go through it because I wrote them down so we can cover them for the people.
Isaiah 41. You
Yep.
say verses 8 and 9. All
Yeah.
right, I'll read them real quick. It says, "But you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, seed of Abraham, my friend, you whom I drew from the ends of the earth and called from its far corners, to whom I said, You are my servant. I chose you. I have not rejected you." Let me say that again. "To whom
Mm-hmm.
I said, You are my slave. I chose you. I have not rejected you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let me go to give you a little break here. I'm gonna go to Isaiah 44,
Okay.
verse 1, so the people can also follow. That says, "Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen." That word servant is the same thing. Um, and then still in Isaiah 44, let's go to 21. Let's see here. It says, "Remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee. Thou art my servant, O Israel. Thou shalt not be forgotten of me." So it's telling you that Jacob and Israel is the servant. Um, and let me go to people want some more. Let's give them some more. Let's go to Isaiah 45, verse 4. "For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect." You see that? "I have
Yep.
even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me." Now I'm reading this out of the King James, so everybody know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me see. Then we go to Isaiah 48, 20, and then at the end I'll tie this in real good. Um, 48, 20. Oh, sorry. Let's get this page here. Where we at? 48. Is it 48, 20? Let's see. Yeah. Wow, it's so long. Okay. "Go ye forth of Babylon, flee ye from the Chaldeans with a voice of singing, declares ye. Tell this, utter it even to the end of the earth. Say ye, Yahuwah hath redeemed his servant Jacob." Let me see. And then Isaiah 49, verse 3. It says, and said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified.
Mm.
Yep. So as you can see, throughout Isaiah, that Jacob and Israel will is Yahuwah's servants. And real quick, when we go to Isaiah 14:1 for the strangers, because in a sense this would also tie the strangers in Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1, is this that the strangers, the converts, will intertwine with Israel and will become basically as one. So then if Isaiah 53 was talking about Jesus, and we go back to, is it Isaiah chapter 60? Let's see, 60 verse 10 through 11. And I'll go ahead and read that. Are you there, Art?
I'm here.
I don't want to leave you behind there.
Can you hear me? No.
Yeah.
Isaiah 60?
Yeah, 60, 10 through 11.
Okay.
And it says, and the sons of the strangers. That word strangers is not the strangers that with
because in my Tanakh it says aliens.
Yeah, they're I believe the Hebrew word is nehed, which is basically heathen strangers. Mm-hmm. Shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually; they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. So I mean, if it was Jesus, then Jesus doesn't have walls. You know what I'm saying? And the walls would be built by the nations, strangers.
In verse 12 right there says, for the nation or the kingdom that does not serve you shall perish. Such
keep going to 14.
Shall be destroyed. So,
yeah.
I mean, how does that fit into a JC narrative?
Yeah. Oh, and then did you read 14? I forgot that I had it up to 14. Sorry.
All right, so let me read 13 and 14. It says, the majesty of Lebanon shall come to you, cypress and pine and box, to adorn the site of my sanctuary, to glorify the place where my feet rest. Bowing before you shall come the children of those who tormented you. Prostrate at the soles of your feet shall be all those who reviled you, and you shall be called City of Yahuwah, Zion of the Holy One of Israel. How does that fit a JC narrative?
Mm-hmm. Just something for people to think about and see kind of where we're coming from. Yeah. And it says that
and these are questions that we, when we ask people these, they always want us to answer questions that they want to show people that they're smarter than us, they know more than us, we devils, all kind of stuff. But when we ask questions like these, they never bring answers to questions like these. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How does the JC narrative fit these verses?
Yeah. And there's a few more things before we end this.
We went longer than we planned on going on, but we just trying to share information with the people. So if you still here and you still listening, may Yahuwah barak you. With seeing some of the stuff that we see. So
yeah. Let me see. So basically, you see, this is the Hebrew people. What's happening in Isaiah 60, and remember that in Isaiah 53 was talking about that they are despised. He is despised. He is the afflicted, right? And you see, in my Tanakh here, it says, "The sons also of them that afflicted thee." And who have been afflicted? What people? If we already established that the servants are Yahuwah's people,
man.
Yeah, so that afflicted thee shall come bending to the knee, and they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of Zion. Yeah. So basically, those that what Isaiah 53 was talking about being despised and afflicted was the Hebrew people, and this is also proves it when you go to Isaiah chapter 60, where they're gonna bow down to your feet. You know. So yeah, and then real quick, and if people still don't believe me or us, when you go to Isaiah 53, I have it written down. This should be the cherry on top. It's in verse 8, and I'll go ahead and read it. He was stricken, he was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. So here's the key words that I want people to focus on. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. That word he is not properly translated. And we're going to post up a picture. Somehow you can. This is already mischievous what Christianity is doing. They put a Greek word alpha to fit in and force.
That's that word you were showing me. I remember.
Yeah. But
wow.
Yeah, but that word he, I don't know how to say it in the Hebrew, but we're going to post it, and it's they. So referring to a group of people.
Wow.
So they were stricken. So and so that basically, in a nutshell, shows that Isaiah 53 is referring to a group of people, and not to say that the other channels that believe Ezekiel and Jeremiah or the Levitical priests are wrong, because when you think about it, they are all Hebrew servants of Yahuwah.
And so I agree. I mean, all that takes us to this moment right here. Who do you think it is? Who do you think this is talking about?
Yeah, so this is not only something that's going to happen in the future, because as you read up to Isaiah chapter 16, it's referring to the Hebrew people, the Israelites that convert, not the wicked ones now, but this is the remnant and the strangers that join Israel and Jacob.
And see, I think me personally, because of, I mean, Jeremiah is an Israelite, Ezekiel is an Israelite, David is an Israelite, the priesthood was Israelites, the king line, all the kings, they were Israelites. So not discounting what anybody has said in their videos, you know what I'm saying? Much love to all those who are out here digging and searching like we are. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, as I put it all together, these people are all Israelites. We just named Jeremiah, David, Ezekiel, everybody we just named, the Levites, they're all Israelites.
Correct.
You know? So I just group them together in Isaiah 53, keeping in context with what Isaiah 52, Isaiah 51, Isaiah 50, Isaiah 49, Isaiah 48, all the way back, and in Isaiah 54, Isaiah 55, and all the way up. That book was talking about Israel. So why would one verse, Isaiah 53, out of all of it, talk about an individual?
Yeah.
So I mean, Isaiah 53, if it is talking about anybody other than Israel, it'll be talking about Jacob. Because that's what it says. Theme all throughout Isaiah is Jacob, Israel, Jacob, Israel, Israel, Jacob, Israel, Jacob. You know what I'm saying? My servant and my chosen and my servant.
Yeah, of course. And when I said this is referencing the Israelite people. I say Hebrew, but Israelite people. Even in when we go to 7, and this will be the end right here for me. Zephaniah chapter 3, 12 through 13, and I can go ahead and read it since I'm already here.
Go ahead and read it out.
And it says, "And I will leave in the midst of thee a poor and lowly people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahuwah. The remnant of Yisrael shall not do iniquity nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid." I know chapter Isaiah 53 mentioned about that there's no lies or deceit. Let me see, where did we see that? Let me see. Where did we see that? You remember what verse it was in 53 at?
That we saw what?
That there'll be no like lies and deceit. I'm trying to look for it here.
Let's see. It's either.
Oh,
I think it's verse 12. Is it verse 12? No, it wasn't verse 12.
we'll find it. Sorry. Actually, I think I wrote it down over here.
Spoken
I
no
think it's
falsehood is verse 9.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it was.
I think it's verse 9.
Yeah. So yeah, verse 9 says. Let me read it here. For they made his grave among the wicked and his tomb, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit. Yep. And then also in verse 4, this where it talks about being despised and afflicted, um, is basically talking about basically, like I said, it's about Israel at the end of the day, the remnant of Israel. So,
Yep.
You know,
And it, again, we think this is a future event.
correct. Because no walls have been built. You know, like in Isaiah 60 has not happened yet. You know, nobody's uh, kissing anyone's feet or bowing down. You know,
Yeah.
so it's definitely a future event. You know,
Last thing I wanna talk about real quick, and it's just a statement. I mean, it's a note I took.
yeah.
And then we'll end this. Like I said, it's going way longer. I was hoping to keep the video between 30 and 40 minutes, but we had to get this information out there. So if people are appreciative of it, you know what I'm saying? They've stayed this long to watch, you know what I'm saying? But I just on this anymore. I mean, if you think about it, you have to either question uh, the Most High, or you have to question the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? The Old Testament is centered around the Most High and His people. The New Testament is centered around the salvific Son. So if Isaiah 53 is about the salvific Son, then you got to question the Most High. You know what's going on there. You know why don't everything match up? But if you question the New Testament, then you can understand why everything don't match up, because that is not talking about a JC narrative in Isaiah 53. All right. Also, Isaiah, they want to say that Isaiah 53 is JC, and they want to equate it to the sacrificial lamb. All right. But there are no rules in the law that tell us how to sacrifice a human. At least I haven't found any.
There isn't.
All right. So if there's rules in the law on how to sacrifice a human for sin, I'd like to see them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's in essence what the New Testament is saying when they put that salvific Son on top of Isaiah 53.
Oh yeah.
Is that there can be a human sacrifice, you know what I'm saying? But the Most High didn't create a standard for it. So
Yeah.
that's just a thought I wanted to add to this. And let's go ahead and wrap it up. What is your final thoughts on this?
My final thought is I hope that this has helped people understand in context, because we're using literally the same book of Isaiah to prove what this is. It's not like we're going in the New Testament or nothing like that. I just hope that people can understand, see it for what it is, because as you can see in the King James, there has been words that have been changed, like the word he in verse 8 in Isaiah 53, which is they, not he. Um, and search the Most High, man, because it's just him only, his people, and the other nations that turn into Israel. That's it. So and Yahuwah's going to deal with everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, man. It was awesome that we kind of we challenged each other to look at this thing over the course of the last, several months, weeks, days, or whatever. And we finally got together and did this to help kind of free people up from idolatry, because essentially that's what this boils down to. The Father is testing us to see if we would prefer Him or idols. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Whether it be with Christianity, Islam, various beliefs in chakras and voodoos, yogas. I mean, all the different stuff that ties to spiritual things. At the end of the day, the Most High left some instructions that work pretty well when you follow them. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. That stuff works pretty well. Don't sleep with other men's wives. Don't, everything he put in place, it works if we do it the way he said it, man. So,
and to piggyback off of what you said, the Old Testament is a very literal book compared to the New Testament that is very spiritualized, and when the danger that comes with that is that you can easily assume stuff that is not there nor been there.
Yeah,
and that can take you to a path of stuff that you shouldn't even be, dealing with, But to each their own. Just know that everybody is going to be held accountable. Nobody's going to escape. No, like it says in Ezekiel 18 that no man can die for your sins, and everybody's going to be held accountable. He just wants people to turn away from the wickedness, stop being an idolater, because it's just YaHuWah himself. If you believe in a JC, YaHuWShi, YaShuWA, you are a straight up idolater, and you're going to pay the consequences. Don't think just because you keep in Torah, you're not even keeping Torah, right? Because you're constantly in violation of that, of Commandment 1. And he put that as Commandment 1 because it's a big deal. Idolatry is a big deal.
Yeah. And he warned us. I can Deuteronomy 13. He said he would test us.
Constantly, yeah.
He said he would test us. He would test our heart. He said he seeks the heart. So
and to go back off what you said, Deuteronomy 13, he even tells you that even he will allow these visions and prophecies to come true to test your loyalty to him. And all you Christians, and I'm not that I'm against Christianity, is that people need to wake up because you are failing miserably. And everybody that is in any other religion is all a test, man. And you got to do what this book says, the OT. If you don't understand it, research it, read it, understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, to me, it's righteousness over spirituality. It's righteousness over sin. It's righteousness over personal affinities. So at the end of the day, man, if we try to walk this thing out the way that he has set it up, to the best of our ability, and search for him and believe in him only, I think we'll be cool, man. I think we'll be good. So that's where I'm at with it. That's my final thoughts. Man, I appreciate everybody. If you, like I said, if you watched all hour and 22 minutes of this, man, YaHuWah rock you. Yeah. We went, like I guess 40 minutes over what we planned on doing. But it's all good, man, because at the end of the day, man, the Most High is going to bless whoever he wants to, and those that came in here and learned something, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully many people will see this, you know what I'm saying? So like we said at the beginning of the video, we'll say it here again: like, share, and subscribe. And you guys be Barak. I give you the last word.
Well, shalom, and I hope that everybody's eyes be open in the name of YaHuWah, and praise him only. Praise him only.
All right, shalom.
Shalom.